The house smelled like roasted turkey and cinnamon, the kind of warmth that was supposed to mean something. Christmas lights twinkled on the tree in the corner, casting soft reflections on the polished silverware. My parents' home was always picture perfect this time of year, just like the lie my life had become. I stood by the fireplace, nursing a glass of whiskey, watching them. My wife, Emily, was in the kitchen with my brother, Daniel. Her laughter, light, effortless, floated above the hum of conversation. She used to laugh like that with me. Now, every sound that passed between them was a razor dragged slowly over my skin. Daniel leaned in, murmuring something that made her cheeks flush. His fingers brushed against hers as he passed her a knife, lingering just a second too long. She didn't pull away. I tightened my grip on the glass, the ice clinking softly. 2 weeks. That's how long I'd known. 2 weeks of replaying the moment I saw that text light up her phone. Last night was perfect. Same time tomorrow, with Daniel's name glowing on the screen. 2 weeks of sleepless nights, of rage simmering beneath my skin, of forcing myself to stay silent. Because revenge wasn't about screaming or throwing punches. It was about patience, about waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And tonight was that moment. My mother bustled past me, her smile bright. Everything's perfect, isn't it? I forced my lips to curve. Yeah, perfect. She didn't hear the venom beneath the word. No one did. Across the room, Emily glanced at me, her smile faltering for just a second. Maybe she sensed something. Maybe she saw the storm behind my eyes. But it didn't matter. Soon, everyone would see. Soon, the perfect Christmas would shatter. And I couldn't fucking wait. The dinner table was a masterpiece. Crisp white linen, gleaming china, flickering candlelight casting shadows across my family's faces. My father sat at the head, carving the golden brown turkey with practiced ease. My mother beamed as she passed around steaming dishes of roasted vegetables and buttery mashed potatoes. And then there were them. Emily sat to my left, close enough that I could smell her perfume, something floral and expensive, the scent she only wore on special occasions. Daniel was directly across from her, his stupid, handsome face all smiles as he refilled her wine glass without being asked. Their fingers didn't touch this time. They were careful now. Too late for that. I took a slow sip of my whiskey, letting the silence stretch before clearing my throat. I'd like to propose a toast, I said, raising my glass. My father paused, mid-carve, smiling. Of course, son. Everyone lifted their glasses. Emily's hand trembled slightly and turned toward me with expectant faces. To family, I began, voice steady. To trust, to loyalty. My grip tightened around the glass. And to the people who betray all three. A beat of confusion. My mother's smile wavered. Then, Emily and Daniel have been fucking behind my back for months. Silence. Absolute suffocating silence. Emily's wine glass hit the table with a sharp clink. Daniel's face drained of color. My father's knife clattered onto the platter. I have proof, I continued, pulling out my phone. Texts, photos. Would you like to see? Emily made a choked sound. Please. Please? I laughed, cold and humorless. That's what you said to him too, wasn't it? Please don't stop. My mother gasped. Daniel shot to his feet. That's enough. No, it's not enough, I snarled. It'll never be enough. You want to know when I found out? 2 weeks ago? And you know what I've been doing since then? I leaned forward, bracing my hands on the table. Watching, waiting, making sure everyone here knew exactly what kind of people you are before I ripped you apart. Emily was crying now, tears streaking her perfect makeup. I'm sorry. Save it. I pushed back from the table, my chair screeching against the hardwood. Merry fucking Christmas. And then I walked out, past the horrified faces of my family, past the ruins of the dinner, past the life I'd just burned to the ground. Behind me, chaos erupted, shouting, sobbing, my father's furious roar. I didn't look back. The snow outside was fresh, crunching under my boots as I strode toward my car. The cold air burned my lungs, but I welcomed it, because for the first time in weeks, I could finally breathe. The morning after Christmas tasted like stale whiskey and ashes. I woke in my childhood bedroom, the same twin bed I'd slept in as a teenager, the same faded baseball posters staring down at me from the walls. Sunlight streamed through the blinds, too bright, too cheerful for the hollowed-out wreck I'd become. My phone buzzed incessantly on the nightstand. 37 missed calls, 12 voicemails, countless texts lighting up the screen like a bomb about to detonate. I didn't need to look to know who they were from. The house was eerily quiet. No clatter of pans from the kitchen, no Christmas music drifting up the stairs. Just the heavy silence of a home holding its breath. I found my father in the study, staring blankly at the family photos lining the walls. The shadows under his eyes told me he hadn't slept. "You're still here," he said without turning around. "Where else would I go?" He finally looked at me, and the disappointment in his gaze cut deeper than any anger could have. "Your mother's upstairs. She won't come out." The guilt hit me like a fist to the gut, but I shoved it down. "They did this, not me." "Did you have to do it like that?" His voice cracked. "In front of everyone?" "On Christmas?" "Yes." I walked to the liquor cabinet, poured 2 fingers of bourbon. It was too early, but fuck it. They didn't deserve the courtesy of privacy. The front door slammed. Heavy footsteps pounded down the hall before Daniel appeared in the doorway, his face flushed with rage. "You selfish bastard," he spat. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" I took a slow sip of bourbon, savoring the burn. Enlighten me. Emily left, packed her bags, and just... Good. Daniel's hands clenched into fists. "You don't get to just... I get to do whatever the hell I want." The glass shattered against the wall, bourbon dripping like blood down the wallpaper. "You lost the right to question me the second you put your hands on my wife." Silence. My father sank into his chair, looking every one of his 65 years. Daniel's jaw worked. "Wasn't like that." I laughed, a raw, broken sound. "Then tell me, brother, what was it like?" He opened his mouth, closed it. That's when I saw it, the shame flickering behind his anger, the first real crack in his armor. I stepped closer, my voice dropping to a whisper. "You look me in the eye and tell me you love her. Go on, say it." Daniel's gaze faltered. "That's what I thought." I grabbed my coat from the chair. "Merry Christmas, Danny. Hope she was worth it." The winter air hit me like a slap as I stepped outside. My breath fogged in the cold as I fumbled for my keys, my hands shaking. Not from the chill, but from the adrenaline still coursing through me. It was over. And yet, the hollow ache in my chest told me this was just the beginning. The roads were slick with black ice as I drove toward the city, my knuckles white on the steering wheel. The heater blasted stale air that did nothing to warm the cold spreading through my bones. Every mile marker felt like another step away from the life I'd known, from the man I used to be. My phone buzzed again. "Emily? Again?" I silenced it without looking. The apartment was exactly how I'd left it 2 days ago. Christmas decorations still up, the tree lights blinking cheerfully in the corner like some cruel joke. Emily's sweater was draped over the couch where she'd left it. I picked it up, pressing the soft cashmere to my face one last time, inhaling the ghost of her perfume. Then I threw it in the fireplace and watched it burn. The liquor cabinet called to me, but I ignored it. I needed to be sharp. There were decisions to make, lawyers to call, bank accounts to freeze, a life to dismantle. I was elbow deep in paperwork when the knock came, 3 sharp raps that made my pulse spike. Through the peephole I saw Daniel standing in the hallway, his face drawn and pale. "Go away," I said through the door. "We need to talk." "There's nothing left to say." "I'm not leaving until you hear me out." I yanked the door open so hard it slammed against the wall. "What part of you destroyed my life? Don't you understand?" Daniel flinched but held his ground. "It wasn't an affair." I barked out a laugh. "Really? What do you call fucking my wife, then?" "It was one time," his voice cracked. "One mistake after too many drinks. It meant nothing." The words hit me like a physical blow. All that destruction over something that meant nothing? "You're lying." Daniel pulled out his phone, thrust it toward me. "Read the texts. All of them. There's no grand love story here, just 2 stupid people who fucked up." I scanned the messages with growing nausea. No declarations of love, no plans to run away together, just guilt and shame, and we can't do this again. Emily's latest text blinked on the screen. Please tell him I'm sorry. I never wanted to hurt him. I handed the phone back, my rage suddenly too heavy to hold. Get out. Daniel hesitated. Get out. The door slammed shut behind him, the impact rattling the framed photos on the wall. Our wedding picture tilting dangerously before crashing to the floor. The glass shattered, just like everything else. I sank to the floor, my back against the door, finally alone with the truth. They hadn't fallen in love. They hadn't planned to leave me. They'd just betrayed me, casually, carelessly. And somehow that hurt worse than anything. Outside, snow began to fall. Soft, silent flakes covering the city in a blanket of white. A fresh start. A clean slate. Too bad some stains never wash out. The divorce papers arrived on New Year's Eve. I sat at my kitchen island, the sterile white envelope glaring at me from between half-empty takeout containers. My lawyer's efficient cover letter used phrases like amicable settlement and irreconcilable differences, as if betrayal could be wrapped up neatly with legal jargon and a judge's signature. My pen hovered over the signature line when my phone lit up with a notification, a Facebook memory from 3 years ago. Emily and me at Rockefeller Center, cheeks flushed from cold and spiked hot chocolate, her mitten-clad hand tucked in mine. The caption read, "Forever starts here." I deleted the app. The apartment felt like a museum of a life that no longer existed. Her shampoo still sat in the shower. The his and hers mugs we'd gotten as a wedding gift gathered dust in the cabinet. I'd stopped sleeping in our bed after finding one of her earrings tangled in the sheets. At midnight, as fireworks exploded over the city, I did something pathetic. I called her. She answered on the second ring. "Hello?" Her voice was cautious, like she was afraid I might scream. For a moment, I just listened to her breathe. Then, "Why?" A long silence. When she finally spoke, her words came out in a rush. "It wasn't about you, that's the worst part. It was just loneliness and wine and stupid choices. You were always working late, and Daniel was there, and what? He understood you better? Made you feel special?" My grip tightened on the phone. "Give me something real, Emily." The line crackled with static. "I thought you didn't care anymore," she whispered. "You stopped looking at me the way you used to." The confession knocked the wind out of me, because she wasn't wrong. The late nights at the office, the distracted half-conversations, the way I'd started turning away in bed. I'd checked out long before she did, but that didn't absolve her. A firework burst outside my window, painting the room in garish red light. "Happy New Year, Emily." Wait, I hung up. The next morning, I signed the papers. Then I did what I should have done weeks ago. I packed a bag, left the keys on the counter, and walked out. As the elevator doors closed, I caught one last glimpse of our apartment through the narrowing gap. The life we'd built, the future we'd planned, gone. Just like that. The sun hit my face at an unfamiliar angle when I woke up. I kept my eyes closed for a long moment, waiting for the sound of Emily's breathing beside me, the weight of her foot brushing against mine under the covers. But there was only silence, and the two stiff hotel sheets against my skin. The digital clock on the nightstand read 8:17 a.m. I hadn't slept past 6 in years. I reached for my phone out of habit, thumb hovering over the weather app Emily always checked every morning. "Dress warm, it's colder than it looks," she'd say, tossing my coat at me as I scrambled for my keys. I dropped the phone onto the empty pillow beside me instead. The shower was scalding hot, the way I liked it. No negotiating water temperature, no waiting for her to finish shaving her legs first. I stood under the spray until my skin turned red and my thoughts blurred into steam. Breakfast was black coffee and a stale croissant from the hotel lobby. I sat by the window, watching couples stroll hand in hand down the sidewalk, their breath fogging in the winter air. A woman laughed as her partner tugged her closer, whispering something in her ear. I looked away. My phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. "Mom's asking about you." I didn't reply. The hotel room smelled like bleach and fake lemon when I returned. Too clean. I yanked open the minibar and poured a whiskey, ignoring the outrageous price tag. The burn was familiar at least. I should have been at work. Should have been answering emails, sitting through meetings, burying myself in spreadsheets like I always did when life got messy. But my inbox was full of sympathetic notes from colleagues who'd heard the news, and the thought of facing their pity made my stomach turn. Instead, I called the only person who wouldn't tiptoe around me. My sister picked up on the first ring. "Took you long enough." "I've been busy," I said, swirling the whiskey in its tiny glass. "Bullshit." A pause. "You okay?" The question hung in the air. I took another drink. "No." "Good," she said. "That means you're not completely dead inside." A laugh escaped me, sharp and unexpected. "Come over tonight," she said. "I'll make lasagna. We can burn your wedding photos in the backyard." For the first time in weeks, I felt something like relief. "Yeah," I said. "Okay." I hung up and finished the whiskey in one swallow. Outside, the sun was high now, glinting off the snow-covered rooftops. The world kept turning, and so somehow would I. The storage unit smelled like dust and forgotten things. I stood in the doorway, staring at the boxes labeled in Emily's neat handwriting: winter clothes, wedding albums, kitchen, miscellaneous. Our entire marriage packed away in cardboard cubes. My hands shook as I reached for the nearest box. Inside were photo albums, the plastic sleeves sticking together slightly from humidity. Our honeymoon in Bali, Christmas mornings, that stupid pumpkin carving contest we lost spectacularly. A yellow post-it note fluttered to the floor. "For when you miss me." Her perfume still clung to the paper. I crushed it in my fist. The next box held her sweaters, the soft cashmere ones she always stole from my side of the closet. I buried my face in the fabric, breathing in the ghost of her, and hated myself for it. At the bottom of the last box I found it, the velvet ring box from our wedding day. The hinges creaked when I opened it. Both rings sat inside, mine and hers, touching like they were still holding hands. I pocketed mine, left hers behind. The storage unit manager gave me a sympathetic look when I turned in the key. "Divorce?" "Something like that," I said. Outside, the sun was setting, painting the parking lot gold. I got in my car and sat there for a long time, staring at the ring in my palm. Then I rolled down the window and threw it as far as I could. It landed in a puddle with a quiet plunk. I didn't watch it sink,